Welcome to the Service Industry Podcast. I've spent the last decade as a CEO, operator, and business builder selling tens of millions of dollars in products and services. I, just like many of you, started with nothing. My mission for this podcast is to help you become the greatest version of yourself, help you grow and scale your business, and create the life you've always dreamed of. I'm your host, Matt Smith. Enjoy the episode. What is going on, everybody? Matt here from the Service Industry Podcast. We have a good episode today. You guys know, I think it was last week, I did an episode talking about how to go from $0 to $20,000 months, and I promised you guys I would make another episode telling you how to go from $20,000 to $50,000 months, because I want to make sure, we've got a pretty wide array of business owners on here. Some are just getting started, some are doing 7 figures a year, and so I just want to talk about this, and we might even do maybe one more doing like 50 to 100K months. But I think this one here is going to be really valuable for you guys that are just getting started, because you're going to see the power of recurring revenue and what your first year of effort does to your second year. But it's also going to give you a lot of valuable insights on what to do in order to get from 20 to 50K months. Okay. By the way, there are a lot of people out there doing 50K months. There are. However, there are also a lot of people that aren't. I would say vast majority of people fall somewhere between that, 0 to 20, 25K a month range. And then really once you master this flow from 20 to 50K, you can just scale the numbers from there. And so I think today's episode is going to be really valuable. Before we dive in, as always, you guys know I own ServiceIndustryCoach.com. We specialize in working with home service business owners just like yourself with print marketing, branding, logo design, websites. We're a one-stop shop for marketing when it comes to home service businesses. So if you want to work with me directly and my team, we can help you with all of your print marketing needs. If you need a new website, if you want a completely refreshed brand, if you want to work with me one-on-one doing business consulting, hit us up. Go to the link in the show notes or just type in serviceindustrycoach.com. Second thing, if you haven't joined the free Facebook group, please do. Lots of y'all still joining, which means either A, you're finally pulling the trigger after me saying this 6,000 times, or you're a new listener. So either or, thank you guys. Glad to have you. And thanks for contributing inside the group. It makes it more fun. Like, people love bouncing ideas off each other. There is no such thing as a stupid question. Everyone's in there to learn, to grow, to become better. And so that's what it's all about. So go join that group. That link is in the show notes as well. We're going to dive in. So I'm going to recap the original episode just real quick for those of you that might have missed it. But the first episode, we talked about how to go from 0 to 20K months. And this is primarily talking about how to generate the revenue through marketing. Okay. Now, just to refresh you guys, basically the framework I told you, which was really simple. You don't need a lot of money to do it. You just need your time, boots in the ground, and willing to be consistent. Okay. We did the equation at 10,000 postcards with the right offer, urgency, expiration dates, all that stuff, which, by the way, that's like the caveat to all of this. If you don't have that right, what I'm talking about today won't work for you. Okay, that's why so many people work with us, because our print marketing stuff, it crushes. It's been proven for a decade. I used it in my own businesses, and I've used it in hundreds of other businesses all across the country, and that's how I'm able to come to these numbers we're talking about today. Okay, so don't think you can just go create a postcard on Canva and it's going to convert. It won't. So what we did was 10,000 postcards every 30 days with an average of a 0.5% return rate, which would be 50 calls, with a 70% close rate, at a $500 average order value. Now, I know some of you guys might be a little bit lower, some of you guys might be way higher, but this is just for basic math. You can plug your own numbers into this equation. So a 70% close rate is 35 jobs at $500 each. That's $17,500. Now, if you're doing these by hand, those postcards, I believe, are roughly like $700 or $800 to produce almost 18,000. Most people are okay with that return. Now you're like, well, Matt, you're still $2,500 short of your $20,000 goal. Well, this is where referrals, I call them organic jobs. Referral sources people repeating, having you do a second house, you reaching out, doing cold outreach to businesses, property managers, that kind of stuff, you should easily, and I mean easily, be able to produce $2,500 a month in organic jobs if you're doing 35 jobs a month through postcards. Okay. And so essentially that gets us to 40 new customers a month in year one, which gets us to our 20K month goal. All right. That's our recap of the last episode. Now, today we're talking about how to go from 20K to 50K months. But in order to do that, we have to understand what the first year got us. So the first year got us 40 new customers every single month, right? So we times that by 12. That's 480 brand new shiny customers that's in our customer list. By the way, if you don't have a CRM, I'm going to slap you. Okay. You've got to get a CRM or else also none of this will work. So we have 480 new customers on our list. Now, again, depending on your business model, this could be really low or this could be really high. But in this instance, I'm going to use a 40% repeat rate because we hovered right around there in my exterior cleaning business. So that is roughly 192 customers that are going to return to you on year two with you doing nothing. Okay. You don't have to go knock their door again. All you got to do is send them an email, a phone call, and a text message, and 192 people are going to repeat with you in year two. Now, at a $500 average order value, that's almost $100,000 in revenue instantly because of all the work you did in year one. Okay, you get that for free. That's pretty sweet, right? So we divide that $96,000 over the whole year, divided by 12 months. Those repeat customers are roughly going to bring you in $8,000 a month without you doing anything else. Okay? This is from all of your hard work and effort that you had in year one. Congratulations. You're starting to see the fruit of acquiring a list and getting them to repeat with you time and time again. Cool. So we know that we're going to have $8,000 in repeat customers. Now, we are not going to stop what we were doing. We're going to continue putting out 10,000 postcards per month by hand, which is going to produce us $17,500. Then we're going to have another $2,500 a month in organic, just like we did in year one. And that puts us right around the $28,000 per month range. Okay. You're like, well, Matt, you're still like 22,000 short. What do we do? I am glad you asked. Now, hopefully you've been listening to me your entire first year. And instead of spending all the money you're making, because doing 20K months, hustling, working probably by yourself with one or two helpers, you're probably pocketing a decent amount of change, maybe more money than you've ever made. Save it all, because this is where it comes in year two. So we have $28,000 doing absolutely nothing different than year one right now. Okay, that we have to make up. So we went from essentially doing $20,000 months to $28,000 months doing nothing different because we have repeat customers now. So we have to make up $22,000 to get to our $50,000 mark. So what are we going to do? Well, now, because we literally physically can't put out another postcard by hand, we're going to mail 10,000. This is going to cost us roughly $3,500 to get them designed, printed, and mailed. All right. And that's going to produce you another $17,500 in revenue. The difference is all you had to do is take these ones to the post office. Now, it costs you some money, but remember, we've got that money now because we've been doing 20K months for the last 12 months. And because you're a smart business owner and you've been listening to Matt for, 12-ish months, you've been putting money aside for this very moment, right? And so we spend $3,500 and it produces $17,500. Those numbers still make a lot of sense, right? Great. Well, what if we went the Google Ads option and we spent roughly $2,500 a month on ads and it produced us maybe like a 4 ROAS. So it did 10,000, 12,000. Well, you can see how we're starting to cut down our budget or our deficit real fast here, right? You do those two things right there, boom, you're at 50K months. See how powerful this is. Now, we should understand that our organic leads will likely double in year two versus year one because now we actually have a customer list that's out talking about us. So instead of doing $2,500 a month in organic leads, we'll likely do 5,000. Okay. We'll go from 2,500 to 5,000 by doing almost absolutely nothing else other than customers telling their friends we exist. Plus, you're going to double down on your cold outreach okay? And your average order value this year is going to raise by 15% because A, you're going to get better at selling, B, you're going to raise your prices, and 3, you're going to start packaging your service better so they essentially upsell themselves. Can you see the power here? Okay? Everything I just talked about is almost fully automated, and we're just going to keep doing the boots in the ground stuff that we did in year 1 and year 2, and then add the automated things to our back end to essentially over double our revenue. It's that easy, you guys. Okay, so let me break this down for you one more time. In year 1, our goal was 20K months. Starting year 2, simply because we have repeat customers, we're doing 28K off the bat. We're doing the same thing, putting 10,000 postcards out. We've got $2,500 in organic leads, okay, whether that's cold outreach or referrals. And our postcards are producing us 17.5. Our repeat business is 8,000, 2,500 for organic leads. We're at 28K. Does that make sense? We got to make up 22K. So we mail out 10,000 postcards. It costs us 3,500. It produces 17.5. We do this every 30 days, by the way, to the same neighborhoods, the same houses. We change the offers. We change the expiration dates. We build them around the services that are hot during your season. Okay. We add Google ads for $2,500 a month. They're getting you a 4 ROAS. Guys, I've seen this isn't even far-fetched. I've seen it more times than you know, people getting a 10x ROAS on Google. Okay, so I have in this formula, I have it set at a 4, right? So if we wanted to do a 10x ROAS, $2,500 could potentially be producing you $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, right? Your organic leads are going to double. Your cold outreach is going to double, and you're going to raise your AOV, your average order value. Boom, you're at 50K months. It is that simple. You're like, well, why doesn't everyone do it? Why isn't everyone building a $50,000 a month home service business? Because they weren't willing to do the work in year 1. Like, you don't do the work in year 1, a couple things. 1, you have no money in your bank. 2, you have no repeat customers, so your $8,000 per month of revenue in repeat does not exist. 3, because you have no money, you can't spend money on postcards. You can't spend money on Google ads. You don't get double the organic leads. The reason most people don't build big businesses, guys, is because they simply don't do the work in year 1. And they're not disciplined enough to save all the money they make. There's a guy, he doesn't own a window cleaning business anymore. He actually owns one of the biggest online window cleaning stores. They sell window cleaning equipment. And his name is Chris. And when Chris was doing $70,000 months, he was literally eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for almost all of his meals. Why? Because he was literally investing every penny back into his business to scale. And they did. They scaled the business and they sold it. And now Chris owns one of the biggest online window cleaning tool companies. And they do, I believe they do 8 figures in e-com for sales. And so, but Chris would have never been able to afford to start that business without building and selling his initial window cleaning business. And he would have never built the initial window cleaning business if he wasn't willing to live on beans and rice for multiple years in a row, even when he was doing $70,000 months, so he could reinvest all his money back into the business. Chris was a massive, massive direct mail guy. Okay, that was pretty much how they scaled their entire business. And because he kept money in the bank and he didn't pay himself a bunch of money, he didn't go drive brand new trucks and buy a boat and go upgrade his house. He put all that money back into direct mail so he could scale because he had the formula. The thing I just told you about, he knew about this. He already knew it existed. He had proven it out inside of his business. And so all he had to do if he wanted to grow his business was send more direct mail to neighborhoods that he wanted to target every single month consistently, and the business year after year after year would grow. Right? And he goes from doing 0 to 20K months to 70K months to $150,000 months to $300,000 months, and boom, now he sells it to somebody that acquires him, which allows him to go and start a new business that he still owns today, and they're doing 8 figures. But none of that happens if in year 1 Chris doesn't do the work. And none of that happens in year 1 if Chris doesn't save the profit he made. He doesn't go spend it on stupid crap that doesn't make him money, Okay. He goes out and he doesn't go buy a bunch of liabilities that are costing him monthly payments. No, he reinvests all the money back into the business. Why? Because the business is an infant at that time. You're like, well, my business is 20 years old and we're doing $300,000 a year. Cool, dude. Your business is essentially an infant. You're starting fresh if you're running this framework right now. Okay? I don't care how old your business is. Unless you're doing 7 figures, this, what I'm talking about, fully applies to you today. You need to treat your business like it's a baby. And the baby needs all the resources in order to grow. Hope this is making sense to you guys. There is no other way. This is why most companies don't grow, you guys. It's too hard. It is so hard to do. And most people, just look at the general public. Majority of the world is so undisciplined. Just because someone's a business owner doesn't mean they're disciplined. And just because they might get to $20,000 months doesn't mean they're going to get to 50. Why? Because undisciplined people will literally hurt themselves, and it won't allow them to get to 50, 100, $150,000 months, because they'll go spend all the money that they made because maybe they've never made money in their life and they don't even know what to do with it now. And they've got so much more than they've ever had. They start buying these nice things for themselves, brand new trucks, boats, houses. You guys, I see it all the time. Happens all the time. And then I talk to them 2, 3, 4 years later and their business hasn't grown. And in fact, more often than not, it's shrunk because they've become defeated, stuck in the $0 to $20,000 a month trap because they over leveraged themselves on their personal side of their life and they weren't willing to reinvest back into the business the way it needed to be. And so I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you guys can see the power of this. In literally 24 months, you guys can have a business doing $50,000 months if you're willing to put in the work. You guys, it's only 24 months. Like, I can guarantee you can look back in the last 24 months and realize how fast they flew by. This will be no different. And the only difference between you taking action today and not is if you don't, 24 months will go by and you will look back and go, man, if I would have just done what Matt said when he launched that episode, I would have been at 50K months by now. But you're not. Why? Because you weren't willing to put in the work. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then what are you doing in the game? It's that simple. It's that simple. I want you guys to build businesses that serve you and your families rather than you serving it. Okay? Give you a little story. There's a laundromat that went up for sale in the town next to me. This was actually just the other day. And I reached out because I was interested in potentially buying it. And I reach out and the guy responds to me and he's like, oh, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about this. They're really interested. So, I'd like to kind of vet you and see if you're even somebody that could pull off a transaction like this. I'm like, okay, whatever. Long story short, the guy starts tooting his own horn about how he's a CPA and how he knows numbers and blah, 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 and how he says that he pays roughly $80,000 a year in payroll for people to run this laundromat. And I said, cool, that's great. How much does the business make? Well, this would be a better business if you were an owner-operator. We don't really look at P&Ls. We look at whether or not it can cover basically the loan that he took out to buy the business. And I go, well, I'm not looking to buy a job. Okay. I'm not looking here to buy a job. And he got pissed. Well, this isn't a job. I have people working it for me. Yeah, dude. And you make no money. So the only way you make money is if you have a job. Otherwise, this is just a business that loses money every single month. That's not something me or most people who have half a brain are willing to buy. Okay. Like in the laundromat space, I'm interested in buying 1 or 2 of them because, they can be automated where it takes very little of your time and they're just kind of a cool business I've always wanted to be in. But long story short, this guy's a quote unquote CPA who does taxes for businesses and he's this business guru. However, he owns a business that doesn't make any effing money unless he works inside of it. That's not called a business. That's called a job. That's called you owning a job. So if you own a business and you're the only guy in it, congratulations. You don't own a business. You own a job. And that's okay. Okay, that might be better than having a job for you. But I can also tell you in many ways it's a lot more risky. And you'll never actually have freedom of your time. And the business will never actually serve you. But if you can get your business to be doing $50 or $100 or $150,000 months, and we can implement a team, and we can have leadership, and we can have people that run the day-to-day stuff, the heavy lifting side of the business, and you're just managing from the outside in, doesn't mean you don't work, but it means that you're not doing the day-to-day things that bog you down, stress you out, deal with customers, answering phones, out on the jobs, all that stuff. It means you're focused on strategy, on building teams, on building culture, on doing the things you love. And in return, you get a business that serves you and your family for the rest of your life or until you want to sell it. Because by the way, most businesses that are owner-operator, they aren't sellable. And if they do get sold, they get bought for almost nothing. You've spent your entire life working an owner-operated business to essentially give it away. Which again, if you're okay with that, that's fine. But for me, if I'm going to put in the hard work one way or the other, I want to get something for it at the end of the day. And that's just my opinion. And I think most of you would agree because I talk to a lot of you guys on a regular basis, and almost everybody either wants to build and sell a business or build a business that serves them so they have more freedom in their time, they can make more money, they can set their own schedule, etc. The only way you do that is by doing the thing I talked about today, going from 0 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 150. It's the only way. There is no other way. And so I thought this would be a valuable episode because you guys can see this is not rocket science. Now, inside of this, right? I say it's not rocket science, but inside of this, there is a lot of skill. This took me a decade, you guys, to master. Because it's not just sending out postcards, like I said. It's sending out postcards with the right design, the right offers, urgency, the right titles, etc. Okay? It's not just running Google Ads. It's running Google Ads properly in the right areas, with the right budget, to the right landing page, with the right messaging. Like, there's a lot of things that go into this. However, this isn't some like AI generated technology crazy thing that's unteachable. This is very, very doable. And there are literally thousands of home service businesses across the country doing this with success. And they're building a life and building a business and building an asset. Okay? They're working hard every day and they're building something that somebody at one point in time will buy from them. And they'll be able to retire. They'll be able to go start another business they want to be in, etc. All because of the work that they're doing in year 1 and in year 2, like I just talked about. So, hope you guys found this valuable. Again, if you need help with any of this stuff, this is what we do at my company. We help businesses go from 0 to 7 figures every single year for the last 6 years in a row. I've done it in my businesses. I've done it in hundreds of others, and I want to do it in yours. If you have any questions, email me, or you can check us out online, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. As always, if you need any help marketing your business or want to work with me directly doing one-on-one coaching, visit serviceindustrycoach.com. We'll see you on the next episode.